Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. We are back for another week of television goodness. We, of course, are now going to be talking about Loki, episode 1, Glorious Purpose, which was a great title for the episode.
Yes.
And then Bad Batch, episode 7, Battle Scars. Go watch it if you'd like. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Loki only. So we're skipping. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about it for a little bit. We'll talk about that one first.
This is a spoiler chat, right? We need to let people know that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you need to have watched. If you're here, you need to have watched both of these episodes. That's how we've always done Deucecast Extra.
So you got to go watch them right now. Turn off. Come back to this.
If you need to turn it off, you need to turn it off. But I mean,
there's some people in our audience who don't watch cartoons. So.
Well, this is true. Rhett would never watch a cartoon. So this episode,
except for My Little Pony, and
yes, he's not even here to defend himself.
Gravity Falls.
Yeah, he's not even here to defend himself.
All the better.
So we are in episode 7. We're getting pretty deep into the season. You know, it's a 16 episode season, and stuff is starting to happen, which is what the creators promised of this episode, that we would be pretty excited about.
It's getting good.
The circumstances of this episode. And so it starts off fast and furious, like they're in a ship running from some people, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. I did enjoy that. Apparently they were going to get this lizard for Sid. I don't know why. We don't know why. We don't know what planet they were on to get this lizard. She directly
brings up that she doesn't know why.
Yeah, it was just a job. They're still in trying to make money mode.
Yeah.
5
years have passed. No, I can't.
Yeah, because Hunter seems very reluctant to hitch his allegiance to a certain group. It's like he kind of wants the Clone 99 group to remain sort of ambivalent as far as what they're going to do. You know, last episode they were talking to the Martez sisters, you know, if you need me, call me, you know, that type of thing. He wasn't like willing to hitch his ride to anything. Or no, maybe he said that to Rex in this episode. Spoiler alert, Rex is in this. Yeah, so
what?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of like, and so Hunter is still really that way. Like, I'm not going to come with you, Rex. You know, we're still just out. We're trying to make money. We sort of want to see where all the cards fall, basically. But yeah, it was a kind of action-packed episode.
Yeah,
you know,
they're trying to protect Omega, and if they join the rebellion or some form of a rebellion, they put her in a lot more danger.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, and I guess that's the idea that Hunter has now. You know, they don't necessarily. I don't know. I don't know that they necessarily have much to worry about with that, but they don't know that, I guess. And so we see them back on Ord Mantell hanging out, you know, in the bar area with Sid, and a cloaked figure is in the background.
It's Aragorn.
Yeah, exactly.
Sitting at the prancing pony.
Yeah.
Nicely done there. Good reference, Dr. Earl.
He was rotoscoped in.
Yeah, he's rotoscoped in. So and I like that they don't make us wait to find out who the Martez sisters were talking to.
Yeah.
Now we're still obviously waiting to see who Finnick was talking to. You know, there's a lot of speculation there still, but right away we know it was Rex. Now, traditionally, where Rex is, Ahsoka is, for the most part.
I'll be honest, I like that. I was not expecting Rex. I thought that was going to be Crosshair. What's his name? Crosshair? Deadshot?
Crosshair.
Oh, you thought in the cloak was going to be Crosshair?
I did for a minute. Yeah, I thought, oh man, they've sent Crosshair to track him. But
interesting. Okay.
So when it turned out to be Rex, I was like, oh. So I was actually surprised. I don't know.
Pleasantly surprised, yeah. And Brian got the blue milk and pints, you know, reference there. I like that in the bar area. So
yes, that was awesome.
So now we know, kind of going back to episode 6 on into episode 7, we kind of know that the Martez sisters are on presumably the side of the rebellion, right?
I mean, Ahsoka's side.
That seems pretty clear. Not that the rebellion is fully formed yet, right? But that the beginnings of the rebellion are happening, and we've got Rex working with the Martez sisters, which Ryfin, you ended up watching season 7 of the Clone Wars, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was interesting in that season because it wasn't very clear what the Martez sisters were going to do at the end of that. So it seems like they just basically are full on going to work with the rebellion at this point.
Yeah. For I mean, Rafa's out for herself or whatever, but
Right. I mean, totally. Oh, Roth, I missed that. Roth said he thought it was going to be a time traveling Luke Skywalker.
Obviously, I didn't think it was that, but I did think maybe it was going to be like a Jedi or something. Obviously,
right.
With the robes
I mean,
and the cloak, but then I started to think about, and I actually, when he started to lift his robe, I thought it was Bail Organa.
Oh, really?
I was like, it's Rex.
Oh, it's Jimmy Smits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the cool thing is, at least from my perspective, I used to always think whenever Star Wars showed a cloaked figure, it was going to be a Jedi. Luckily, Mandalorian sort of broke me of that, though, because, we ended up having Cosca Reeves in as a cloaked figure, and obviously she's no Jedi.
In the end of season 2, there wasn't a Jedi there. So
right, exactly.
You are no
You
Jedi.
are no Jedi. I mean, Ahsoka doesn't fancy herself a Jedi either.
It's the car service guy.
The car service guy from In the Heights.
Jimmy Smits is in the
Little
show.
did you know you'd be getting an In the Heights reference on the Deucecast Extra Night.
The number 2 movie at the box office this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
behind A Quiet Place 2, I bet.
Yep.
Well, yeah, just barely. Quiet Place 2 just barely beat it, but of course, all the naysayers of putting a movie on streaming and theaters at the same time came out. I think it was just a dead weekend, in all honesty. I mean, there's a certain group of people that will never go see a movie like In the Heights, though.
Oh, sure.
Whereas they did. Whereas A Quiet Place Part 2, I think crosses a lot of it had a built-in audience, and the young and the old love it.
I don't want to get into too much, but Warner Brothers saw a musical from Lin-Manuel Miranda and went, okay, he did Hamilton, we can pull people in with this too.
Oh yeah.
And,
well, no, you're right.
And a lot of people were like, I'll watch that on HBO Max.
Right.
And that's how I was. That's 100%. No, to be honest, I was never going to go to the theater to see a movie like In the Heights. I mean, I haven't even seen Hamilton. It 220 is too long for a musical. I didn't go see, I mean, I don't know.
That's pretty standard. But...
Wow, Roth. Tell us how you really feel. I'm not going to put that on the comment. Good gracious. But anyways, yeah, I mean, it just wasn't a movie necessarily that I was ever going to go see in the theater. I never went and saw that Hugh Jackman musical in the theater. Nope, I mean, I waited till that got on is it on Disney Plus? Where was that? Where
Are you talking about The Greatest Showman?
The Greatest Showman. It's somewhere. Is Hamilton 4 hours?
No, it's not.
No, it's almost 3.
It's like maybe 3. But it's anyway. Well, why are we talking about In the Heights? Let's get back to that. What just happened?
I don't know. The chat messed us up. So let's not talk about Battle Scars much longer. But
it's
Rex. It's Rex. In all honesty, I wanted to spend most of this episode talking about Loki. So Battle Scars was a good episode, though.
Well,
it was.
When I saw Rex, I was like, okay, so we're gonna get them getting their chips out, but I didn't expect it to happen in this episode. I mean, that happened really fast.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm glad they got it out of the way.
Yeah.
But I was expecting maybe like a cliffhanger of they have to do something or Wrecker goes crazy and then it stops and we have to pick that up next week.
Yeah, it was a fast moving resolution.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was only 22 minutes long. I think they're really focused on not going, over that 30-minute mark at least.
I mean, Michael was expecting Tech? You're expecting Wrecker to kill him, weren't you?
I was expecting something worse than what happened.
His hand around his neck, yeah.
I mean, there was a moment that they could have gone that way, but they chose not to. I mean, which is fine.
Did you watch the episode?
Huh?
Wait, what is he asking? Only one got their chip out. Yeah, I mean, they all got their chip out. No.
They all
No.
got it out.
I
They all
thought
got their
only
chip out. They showed
They
them
all did.
all
They only
good at the end.
showed. I mean, they didn't show everybody getting it out. They showed them all though with.
they
bandages.
just showed them
They
all
showed a
with
few of them
bandage.
getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I'm with Roth. I kind of forgot that. Like I was
No,
focused on Wrecker
I
being
saw it very
No,
recently.
they all had their bandages. There was like a
Okay.
flat,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously Echo didn't have a chip.
no,
Yeah,
No.
so he didn't have to have the
Wait.
surgery. So
But Tech definitely got it out. I saw
Tech,
the bandage
Hunter,
on his
yeah,
neck.
they all had
I'm
the
sure
bandage
Hunter
on their
did.
head.
Yeah.
right, but for whatever reason, Wrecker seems to have taken a longer time to recover than the other guys. Then in that case,
Well,
I guess
Well,
we
he
don't
got
know.
stunned. He got stunned. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
man,
yeah,
he was pretty menacing though. Man, he was going after.
and that's why I thought that something bad was going to happen. But I still think at some point in this series, I don't think all of Clone Force 99 is making it through this. I think last week we obviously said Tech is the most expendable of them.
He's the expository guy.
Yeah,
He tells
I
you
just
what's
don't.
going on.
I know,
And
but I
Echo
just
Of course, here we have to do this.
Echo
Yeah.
works on a lot of the computers too. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
They could both be.
Tech.
and they're not
So,
going to get
yeah.
rid of Echo.
I mean, it was a pivotal episode of the season that we knew we would eventually get, and just the fact that we knew at some point they were going to have to find a facility to get their chips out. So that's why Rex told them to meet him at Braca, because he knew that was sort of like a bunch of downed old. In this case, it was a
Old
Clone-
Imperial ships, right?
Former Republic.
Republic.
Former Republic, I mean.
Yeah, former Republic ships.
Not Imperial.
The only kind of menacing thing that happened after they got their chips out is obviously the scrappers were watching.
Yeah.
And the scrappers were most likely reporting this all to the Empire.
Yes.
And apparently this is the planet where Cal Kestis.
Yeah. I didn't play the game, but
It's in
just
the
right
game.
before the episode, Braca is in that game. So I don't know if anybody in the chat can help us out as far as
From what I was watching,
major events happen there. But
there's a speculation that we might actually see. Is that am I saying his name right? Cal Kestis?
yeah, you are Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis. Okay.
You think we're going to see him in this show?
There's some speculation.
Theoretically, he's around.
When does Fallen Order take place? I don't even.
Right after Order 66.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think there's probably some exposition at the beginning of that game, but yeah, it's basically another Jedi on the run type thing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. Oops, dang, I clicked on the wrong one. When Omega looked at Hunter, notes from the Jedi theme played. Interesting. Huh. Interesting. And yet again, Roth has no memory. He played the game, but he has no memory of it. Sort of like this episode. Which, look, to be honest, I was all over Wikipedia before we started recording this to sort of jar my memory. Look, I mean, we'll go around.
Blanked out my brain, I think.
Yeah, we'll go around real quick and then move on to Loki, because I don't necessarily want to be here for 8 hours. But I liked the episode. It's probably up there, second or third favorite of the season. I'm a huge Rex fan, so I like the fact that he showed up. And then my mind obviously always goes right to Ahsoka when I see Rex. So I really hope that in some capacity she shows up in this series. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if they'll pull the trigger on it. I think that they'll put out all the stops if their plan is to only have one season of this show. If it's a 2-season, 3-season show, they might save Ahsoka for later. But Ryfin, what do you think?
I agree. It's one of the better episodes of the season. I think last week was also good. I think they've been picking up since probably about episode 5, I guess.
Yeah.
I think there was kind of a lull there with 3 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
and we're continuing to chug along. So I just gotta hope that the rest of the season continues to pull my interest in. That's it for me.
Dr. Earl.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. This is my probably second favorite after the very first episode.
Yeah.
Which was really good, sort of setting the stage. But, I mean, I like this. I agree with Ryfin that I wasn't expecting such a quick resolution of the chip situation. It's just like in one episode, hey, all the chips are out. Okay.
Yep.
You guys are all going to be loyal and non-influenced. So Rhett's popped in.
No,
Yeah,
Rhett, we haven't got to Loki.
No, Rhett.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad. I forgot. We already talked about Loki, Rhett. You might as well just leave now.
We're doing 45 minutes on In the Heights.
Yeah.
45 minutes on In the Heights.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great. I'm curious to see where we go next. I don't know, what's going to happen next. So, obviously, Crosshair is going to come after him at some point.
Yeah, we've got to see Rampart and Crosshair and some of these guys start like really coming after them. Now that we've already seen Rex, we've already got the chips out. We've already got the sort of open thread of Hunter telling Rex, if you need us, call us. So we've got that type of open thread there that could come to some resolution at some point during the season. But yeah, I think that overall it is going to mean that the series is going to continue to be at this pace, basically. So, and I've already seen another one of the creators of the show tweet out, well, if you liked Battle Scars, you're really going to like the next episode also. So, I think obviously it's their job to hype up the stuff, but it's their job to hype up the episodes, but
if
the
like
guy
this episode, don't tune in next week.
Right.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
The guy that hyped up this particular episode, it came true. I thought it was a good episode. So, that's pretty much all we're going to say about Battle Scars. Good episode. I think I'm liking this series more and more. But now we can move on to the more important show, which is Loki. Well, fine. More important to Marvel fans than Star Wars fans, obviously.
Now be careful.
I know. Look, hey, I've got my Mickey Mouse hat on. I'm a Disney shill, so I'll support anything that Disney does. We've got another good series here where the same director is on every episode. It's Kate Herron is doing every episode. The show creator is very involved, obviously, in the future.
Dude, Ryman has a TVA shirt on. Did you notice that?
Yeah, but that's Tennessee Valley Authority, right?
No, it's Time Variance.
Oh, okay. I thought it said Tennessee. I was like, well, of course. But you're not even close to the border. Why would you have a TVA shirt?
TVA, that's it.
How did you already get that? Did you order that?
That's awesome.
I don't even
ordered
know
it pretty.
Oh my
early
gosh.
on.
You
Go
ordered
ahead,
it
Michael.
pretty. No, when I
I thought it
saw
was
that,
Tennessee Valley Authority too.
I totally thought that too in my brain. I was like, "There's no way he has like a merchandise from the show already."
Yeah. Shout out to Hot Topic.
What are we in the 1930s? Are we still building those dams?
Oh my
TVA?
gosh. Yeah. So, anyways, like I was saying, Kate Herron is directing all 6 episodes. Michael Waldron, who apparently Kevin Feige really likes this guy because he not only is the writer creator for Loki, he's also very much involved in Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and he could be even involved with obviously more seasons of Loki. They've already said there's going to be a season 2. So I like it. Okay. And Roth, I don't know. I don't follow him, but apparently he's a good Twitter follow. He says
troll.
Funny. Yeah, he's a little bit of a troll. He says funny stuff. He's like, oh, well, I broke a bunch of stuff in this series. I guess I'm going to have to fix that in Doctor Strange. So, it's cool. I like it. But, episode 1, Glorious Purpose, pretty good episode.
Glorious Purpose.
I love the fact that they start us in one of the movies.
Yes.
I love that throwback to remind the audience what happened here.
Yeah.
You've got this different timeline Loki grabbing, the Infinity Stone thing. And
they even inserted new shots into that scene.
They did. Oh, I didn't know that.
They filmed some. First off, there's the stuff in the elevator with the close up on him is new.
He looks and goes. Yeah.
That's new.
Here we go. Speaking of troll, we've got Red out here. Remember when Black Widow sacrificed her life for a paperweight? Loki is the MCU's The Last Jedi.
What?
That is the biggest troll comment on the face of the earth.
We can get into that later.
Yeah, that is the biggest troll comment.
We can get into the paperweight stuff later.
Yeah. No.
They didn't. Heron already said that they filmed it later.
Yeah, they didn't film this at the same time as Endgame. No way. But yeah, but that was cool for us to experience that again.
She did say that she got all of the like unused footage from that stuff. But that they shot a lot of that later. So
did that? Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. So really, it immediately puts Loki in an unfamiliar setting to him, where
Mongolia.
where
not yet. Sorry,
not quite yet, but where he doesn't have the power that he thought he had. So I like that.
To reply to Brett, I do think that take was a little different than the one that's in the movie.
Oh, okay.
It's very similar, but
not all the viewers can see that comment. But I think the Loki Cap bit was a different take. So yeah, I mean, it might have been
one where he transforms into Cap and is kind of portraying him as a guy with a stick up his butt. But
well, I mean that's Cap though.
Yeah. Well, hey,
was that in the movie or not in the movie?
That was in the movie, but I think it was a different take.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so too.
So the Mongolia stuff though. Getting into that, it's off, him crashing was kind of reminiscent of Iron Man crashing in the desert.
Yes.
Yes.
Breaking around him.
Very much so.
But then he just immediately he's still 2012 Loki. He's still Avengers Loki. He immediately gets up on the rock and starts telling them about him trying to take him over. And they're going to be
filled with glorious purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're going to be his slaves essentially.
Yes.
And they have no idea what he's saying.
Who are you? Who is this?
And it's funny in thinking about the fact that this is a god. Like, why didn't he recognize that they didn't understand him? There's weird stuff.
He's
I mean, a lot. He's very full of himself. Like, you would think that he would immediately start speaking their language.
Well, it didn't take long.
No,
because like the Time Variance Authority is zipping in right there.
Right. So this Time Variance Authority thing, I haven't read the comics, just to be frank, but it is in the comics. It's not just something, made up.
Different than it is in the comics.
It's a little different. They're time cops, right?
Time cops, like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
They're all modeled after the former Marvel writer. They were created by Walt Simonson. In the Thor comics. And they were all modeled after the former Marvel writer, like Grunwald or something like that. Glenn Grunwald.
Oh, I did hear that story. Yeah.
Oh, I thought Mobius was modeled after.
Well, that was his character. That was everyone who worked for the TVA looked exactly like this Marvel writer.
Right. So they didn't have different.
Okay. So that was Mobius, the end joke.
Mobius is a character. He was introduced, I think, in Fantastic Four in the 90s.
Yeah.
And yeah, they all look like that Marvel writer.
They all look like Greenwald.
Yeah. Which is pretty funny. I mean, and now Rhett, I don't necessarily, and I hate to keep putting Rhett's comments in here because
don't do that.
I mean. Wait, no, that's not what I meant to put. I meant to put this one.
What?
They went for the laugh rather. I don't think I don't think they're necessarily going like full Taika Waititi going for the laugh like he did in Ragnarok. I think that there's still some stuff that made sense, and they, it was funny as we were all watching the episode. I watched it at 2 a.m. or whatever, which was not necessarily a good idea. I was half asleep because there was a lot of dialogue and a lot going on in the episode. But at the beginning of the episode, we were worried that perhaps this breaks the timeline completely. But they end up explaining that, to the viewer pretty much like middle of the episode or something. Yeah, Miss Minutes explains it. And then I think Mobius says some more stuff about, the timeline and everything. I don't know who this Sup Ash 3 guy is, but Mark Grunwald is the name of this episode. But
interrupt. Sorry.
Yes, that's right, Roth. You're look, totally. Rhett is the king troll. I mean, Rhett could be making so much money on YouTube just having a show that just completely trolls people the whole time, and people would just follow. That's what people make a lot of money on. So, I mean, it's not normal things like this that people make any money on. It's troll jobs the whole time.
I loved the Miss Minutes cartoon that runs through.
Yes.
Obviously, we didn't get all the answers from that cartoon. It only gave us kind of a surface of the timekeepers want to create the sacred timeline,
right?
To keep everything in check, to keep these universes from, I guess, colliding with each other and creating a multiverse.
We're here to create the timeline.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean there are other Earths and they're all running on their own timelines that are not intersecting with other timelines, or is it just one timeline?
That remains to be seen.
I hope it's just one timeline because it's very DC to do it the other way.
Because Steve, but it can't just be one timeline. The multiverse exists and will exist in Doctor Strange, so there have to be multiple Earths.
Yeah,
that is DC, but it's also Marvel. I mean, they did the Ultimates universe, and they did.
No, you're right. I
mean, MC2 and stuff like that. So
and that stuff's fine if they do it right. I just don't want it to be a complete copy of how DC does it with all the different Earths. And I mean, it's just
right.
I need them to I need them to do it a little bit differently for it to be like totally.
They showed the branching that you could potentially get to a multiverse if it wasn't stopped.
I know.
And Loki's going to cause it. He's mischief.
One of the things I like that they did, they've got these branches coming out. That's something they kind of set up in Endgame. So that's something Waldron saw. And he saw that clipping of the branch that they talked about in Endgame. And
well, didn't the Ancient One explain that? Which we're not allowed to talk about her anymore. But
she showed the clipping of the branch thing. And that's clearly something that Waldron keyed in on and brought in Loki. Now, again, Steve Rogers goes back in time and does something that never happened in the past, but I guess.
But he's Captain Rogers.
Why was he not arrested? But I guess the timekeepers went and said that's fine.
Well, no, and they did allude to that a little bit, like where they really don't involve themselves unless what's happening is not supposed to happen.
Well, they supported the Avengers too. Remember, he said,
"But
no, wait a minute, they came."
But the Avengers went back and clipped those branches.
But maybe that was supposed to happen.
But you're saying that Rogers was always going, but that doesn't follow the logic of the in-game time travel.
Oh gosh, Rhett.
No, Garrison. What's his name? Waldron will probably time travel is so convoluted and confusing. I'm sure there will be some missteps.
I don't know. I still like the idea, and I don't know the exact wording that they put it, but it seemed to me like their intention is to only get involved when something that's not supposed to happen is happening, like this Loki thing.
Yes. But also I don't like that either, because I don't like pre.
Look, you're going to get that with the Eternals too. You're going to get that with the Eternals too. You're totally going to get that with the Eternals. I mean, where they're basically like, we only involve ourselves in the worst of situations. I mean, that whole spiel.
But at this point, the timekeepers are acting as gods, and they're not giving people free will.
Well, now hold on now, because John Campia, I walked through his video, and he did this whole thing teaching us about predestination versus foreknowledge. Predestination is where you determine the course. Foreknowledge is where you see the course, but you don't necessarily. It can be varied.
Okay,
I like that. You just observe it. I don't know. I
like that. I like that.
You say it can be varied, but they bring up an example in the cartoon of a guy being late to work. It sounds really rigid. It sounds really structured.
Well, no, you're right. And he goes off the path, and they come get him and take him back, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the plot of a Matt Damon movie, The Adjustment Bureau?
Yeah.
Isn't the TVA basically like the Adjustment Bureau?
Possibly.
Interesting. Which, I mean, to be fair, the TVA was a thing way before the Adjustment Bureau was. So it's like maybe the Adjustment Bureau was stealing from that.
The TVA was. I mean, I am a timekeeper, guys. Let them know that I am a timekeeper.
I like Sam Harris.
I am the fourth timekeeper. Anyway.
But then there's the Watchers. Don't they have something to do with all of this also? Where are the Watchers?
They just watch.
They just watch. They don't participate.
So maybe the timekeepers set the time. The Watchers.
The Watchers are going to be involved in What If.
Yeah.
And that is supposed to be, I mean, they've already put out like a poster or whatever that are like the Guardians of the Multiverse with Cap, Peggy's Cap, and and the
I'm
Guardians.
not too excited about
Guardians, and well,
well,
that is what it is.
It just depends on if we are supposed. Now, Ryfin, you think we're supposed to think it's canon?
I think that there's a possibility that I think it's supposed to be canon to the Marvel multiverse.
Oh, good grief!
That's what I said in my text.
No, that was well. I thought going in that it was kind of going to just be this is fun. Let's just do this fun little animated series where. Similar how they would do
what if this happened? Yeah.
Yeah, like they would do one-shot comics of, what if this happened? But if it's going to be part of the multiverse, that's a lot to take in.
I would expect any possible timeline to be a part of the multiverse, but the
timeline that we're in right here could be part of the multiverse.
Hey, we're in the multiverse. Saying something different right now, and that's a completely separate timeline.
I'm sensing a crisis on Infinite Earth.
No, stop saying that. I hate
that. I guess as the DC fan, I like Infinite Earths.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Well, I'll say this: at least the way that the CW did it, I did not like. I haven't read any of the comics. I'm sure it's fine in the comics, but I mean,
the comics they bring it all down to one Earth. So,
the comics do.
Yeah, until they expand it again, and
until they expand it again and again. Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the specifics.
Talk about the show.
Yeah, let's talk about some. Well, we're just talking about the ideas of the show, which is fine. So we can talk about.
It started with an idea.
It started with an idea. So, Loki, like we said already, gets scooped up by the TVA and taken into this area where he is powerless, basically, which is interesting.
It snaps him back.
It's very bureaucratic. It's very Men in Black.
Yes.
Well, and I'm certainly not the only one to say this, but it's very Terry Gilliam too. It's very it's just got, that vibe to it, which I love. That's why I loved the vibe of the episode. Just because it felt Terry Gilliam. It felt almost like Monty Python-esque, like some of the things that were happening. So I loved the vibe of it.
Time Bandits,
exactly.
Yeah, I love the art direction. I think somebody else mentioned that in the chat.
Yeah. It's really cool looking.
Did I even go into the 60s looking cartoon or whatever that Miss Minutes shows? That's fantastic. They've got it looking like it's come off old film and stuff like that. It looks like it's hand drawn completely. I didn't.
This is cool. Total immersion. Brian makes a good point. It makes you feel like totally immersed immediately in this particular universe, which is really unique because we're so used to a certain style with the MCU, and this kind of, and WandaVision did to some extent, but this even bucks that style even more. Sort of puts you in a different realm. WandaVision did it through the TV show, but when we got back to the real world, it kind of felt similar, normal. Right. It evolved into kind of the normal MCU. This feels like it's going to stay pretty weird. Oh yeah, I hope so. No, I hope all 6 episodes are insane. That's kind of like what I want. Tomorrow
night at 2:00.
Exactly.
Well, actually, it's Wednesday morning at 2.
Wednesday morning at 2, and we can of course talk about the big twist towards the end, which was awesome.
Wait.
No, we're not going to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it towards the end of whenever this episode's going to end. I have no idea. We could be going on to different timelines in this episode. 2 hours. Yeah, exactly. If I have to
go 8 hours.
If I have to get up really quickly, it's because I have to go let my sister and brother-in-law in the house because I'm the only one awake right now.
We'll hold it down.
You guys can hold it down if I have to step away. But she's supposed to text me. I guess I need to sort of like watch my phone a little bit. She's sitting out in my driveway and I don't even know. No, she's not here yet. Okay. So they're driving in from Texas. So they're going to be here late. Don't spoil it for Earl. He's watching it right now. What? What? Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's a different timeline, I guess.
It's like Tenet. He hasn't watched it yet.
Oh, exactly.
Maybe I'm breaking off the timeline to go back.
Yeah, exactly. What were we talking about? Okay, let's talk about sort of like the stuff that Loki goes through. I mean, it's a quick.
He goes through processing.
Yes,
and it's a quick processing.
He gets the ticket, which the
ticket.
other guy gets no ticketed.
Right. Yeah, right away.
Yeah, just gets disintegrated.
There's some great posters up too about behave and
yes.
If you read them, they've got really like cutesy drawings, but they say some like really dark things.
yeah.
I love. Yeah, that's a great aspect of the show.
Yeah, totally. So this process that they're putting, the cop on the neck thing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We didn't even talk about the fact she hit him with that stick and put him into 1/16th time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he's feeling every ounce of pain.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, that was a great.
It's holding on that shot, and you're like, okay, this is holding on to this for maybe too long.
Right.
And you realize, we're not actually seeing this scene in slow motion. He's in slow motion.
He's in slow. Exactly.
She straps that device on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's for the twister, right? The time twister.
A lot of things,
which is what that's called.
And the hunters are pretty vicious. I mean, they sort of that's why I'm Hunter M42. I just made the M42 up. But if you look in the cast list, all the hunters have like an initial and then a dash and a number or whatever. But they're all pretty vicious right away. And I guess like we find out it's because a lot of them are just being murdered. By this,
they're being hunted.
The hunters are being hunted. Yeah.
That and they're clearly created by the TVA to have one role.
Yeah.
Right.
Get rid of variants.
Right.
And
yeah.
So
totally.
They're not human beings with the complex emotions, having to make decisions. They're just out there to capture these variants and potentially disintegrate them.
Well, I mean,
prune timelines.
That's the one thing I guess I'm not clear on, and maybe I'm overthinking it. But are any of them humans in the sense that we understand it?
I think that they're Homo sapiens. I think that they're because they look like Homo sapiens, but
right.
Homo sapien.
But I don't think I think they're completely created by the timekeepers to kind of regulate time.
Oh, this Roth makes a really good point that I didn't think of. Another reason they are so vicious is because they don't look at these variants as people anymore. Interesting.
They varied off the
timeline that they were in. So interesting.
But there was a lot of unclear about some of the what does it mean, the processing? What does the judgments mean? We don't want to get there just yet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but is the end goal to
the
put
court system's kind of weird?
Yeah, is the end goal to put these variants back into the timeline they're supposed to be in, or is the end goal to just eliminate them?
They eliminated that one guy.
That's a great question, because it seems from the cartoon that the end goal is to eliminate, but maybe if these people realize what they did wrong, maybe they can send them back to the point that they made the mistake and have them fix it. I don't know.
Yeah, and again, that could be totally
maybe
overthinking
they MIB them and they wipe their mind and send them back to that point and have them suggest to do a different thing.
Well, not to jump ahead, but didn't the judge, what's her name?
Renslayer.
Okay, Fatmatic, probably both. That's
both.
Yeah, that's a good thought. I mean, it could be both type of things, but I mean, can you put a variant back into the timeline? Well, you're right. They'd have to wipe their mind. They couldn't know that they were a variant, obviously.
But
so
wipe their mind like MIB and give them a suggestion like MIB afterwards to do this instead. That kind of
which is very much Adjustment Bureau. That's exactly the plot of the Adjustment Bureau.
The pruning devices or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They prune
those things they planted.
Interesting. I didn't think about I forgot about those pruning devices. And Brian makes a good point too. I mean, for a group that seems to know everything, they can't prevent the killing of their TVA coworkers.
Well, here's the thing: they know everything that's supposed to happen. The killing of their TVA coworkers is happening through variants.
So when you go off on a variant,
so they can't control it.
They can't. They're not able to guess that because it's not the thing that they programmed for the timeline to be.
But as
it's also why I potentially think TVA may not be great people. The timekeepers may not be great people.
This may be right
because they're a little too controlling on that aspect. in my opinion.
Well, I mean, but
also, I don't know that they're telling the full truth about everything.
That's what I'm wondering too. If there's some sort of,
but they know that this variant that's out there that they can't stop. They know who this person is, which we'll get to that later. So I'm intrigued by the fact that if they're so powerful, why can't they stop this one variant? If their whole goal and their whole existence is to stop variants from occurring, this one variant is so powerful that they can't. Loki. Well, I know because it's Loki, but that's
he's moving across different times, right? He keeps
hopping. Yeah, it's clearly a Loki that has some sort of time technology.
He's what is it called in Star Wars? He's skipping. He's
light speed
skipping.
Yeah. Or she.
Now wait a minute. Did we see time grenades?
Yeah, that's the things they planted.
Oh, that's the thing they plant. Okay.
Pruners.
Yeah. I think the person that we're going to run into is Lady Loki. Sophie DiMartino has been cast and was brought to like some premieres of these fan things for where they showed episode 1 and 2.
I like that. Lady
Loki.
Yeah. So I guess a Loki
is gender fluid. So
yeah, a Loki that's probably taken the form of a Lady Loki.
Interesting. I didn't know she had been cast in that role. Okay.
Well, that role is not confirmed, but most people feel very strongly that she's playing Lady Loki.
I mean, that's a character that's in the comics. I mean, obviously.
But there's also this sort of devilish. So I saw one of the comics where there's this variant Loki that's kind of like a devilish looking character. Mm-hmm. And so when they showed that stained glass with the horns,
yes,
and he's kind of almost a Mephisto looking dude, to be honest, but he's kind of this reddish.
Not. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's still Loki, but it's like a wicked variant.
If they do that, I know that Richard E. Grant is also rumored to be playing a Loki as well.
Good grief!
Wait, what?
And what? Not in this series, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Richard
he was
E. Grant's in this series.
Oh my gosh, this has gotten too far. I don't pay enough attention. Anyway. I didn't realize. So no, I like all that though. I love all of that concept of having all these different Lokis, because that's something that Loki would do. You know, he would take on these different
Spider-Man.
Take on all these different forms.
He's mischief.
Obviously, he already did that a little bit with I can't remember his name now. The Natalie Portman's friend and Kat Dennings' friend, the dude.
Yeah.
He took on his form for. Yeah, he took on his form for a bit. I mean, it wasn't like a long time, but he did take on his form for a little bit.
Yeah, I think he was more mind controlling him.
Odin.
I thought he took on his form.
Eric Selvig.
Maybe not. Yeah, Eric Selvig.
From the Avengers and the end of Thor.
Oh, that was the power of the scepter, right?
Yeah. But we know he has that power though to take on the form of different people. Yes. So yeah, I mean it makes total sense.
Chris Evans in the Dark World, he turned into Captain America.
Right. Yeah.
In an Endgame.
It makes total sense that they will introduce that at some point in the series, especially if they've cast all these different people that, although not confirmed, makes sense that they could potentially be Loki. So,
here's the thing. Judge Renslayer, I believe, is the girlfriend of Kang in the comics.
That's right.
Yep, in the comic.
If there is some sort of aspect of the TVA not being a good thing,
right?
You know, you think maybe it potentially has something to do with Kang? Not saying he's in it, but you know that there's going to be
I mean, we know, which I mean, this is a very MCU thing to do, is to announce the casting of somebody. Jonathan Majors is going to be Kang. I think the first time we are supposed to know that he's going to show up is in Ant-Man Quantumania, but I bet he shows up. That's a long time down the road, so I bet he shows up before that in some way.
It would be a brief appearance if he's in this, I think, but yeah.
It would be a brief appearance if he... I more likely think that he'd be in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness very quickly, showing, you know, here's your next big bad villain. Kind of like, you know, how they slow rolled with Thanos, you know, they sort of slowly introduced him. They could easily do that with Jonathan Majors, you know, Kang or whatever. So yeah, no, I think you're right on that.
And you don't hire Gugu and Bathara just for like a one little cameo.
Correct. Yeah.
He's going to be in multiple.
What does Brian say? Let's see what Brian says here.
Point, I was going to say that our current Loki had like a whole change that happened after he saw his entire life. I think he's going to be back to more of a kind of an anti-hero, not as much as he was at the beginning of it.
He won't be quite as sinister and evil.
Yeah, he won't be as sinister and evil. I think the variant Loki, I think he's going to have to go up against this variant Loki that's trying to destroy these timelines and create chaos, essentially.
Well,
I think he will be working with Owen Wilson to stop that.
That's very much like Thanos. He was very much that way.
Thanos.
Thanos. But no,
it's pronounced Thanos.
Thanos. So, anyways, but Loki makes a good point. Roth makes a good point that he's always out for himself. I mean, he's very much like a Martez sister.
To stay alive, he's got to help the TVA, I think, at least initially.
Yeah. I mean,
he will. He'll act like he's playing with them.
Yeah.
But
right. I mean, to get himself, to this version of Loki to stay alive and be. That's what's going to be interesting about this. So, in the timeline that is the right timeline, theoretically, Loki's dead. But if this 2012 Loki can work with the TVA, could they put him back into the correct timeline being alive, even though he died?
That's what I want. I want to know what does he get for helping them?
Right.
Initially they were going to destroy him until Owen Wilson stepped in and said, "No, I want to work."
Wow!
Wow!
Yeah!
Wow!
It's in the computer. I mean, there's so much to think about with that because if this Loki. I mean, if I'm Tom Hiddleston, I play the character as long as Marvel pays me to play the character.
He will. He's pretty much.
We know there's a season 2 of this.
We know that there's very heavily rumored season 2.
Okay, very heavily. You're right. It's not necessarily official, but very heavily rumored that there's a season 2.
I think Variety put it out there or something. So it's pretty almost.
Man. So could this Loki end up back in the current timeline and be in the movies again? Not just like his own series.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They'll have to remake the movies.
No, I mean, because would not that be crazy if he shows up in Thor: Love and Thunder?
Well, they could almost just put him back in where he was supposed to be and have him understand that he's going to die and do all the things that he was supposed to do.
But knowing Loki, like Roth pointed out, he's going to figure out any way to further himself.
I know.
And so
he's the god of mischief.
If you're Loki, he's the god of mischief. He's not a human. He's god of mischief. He sees himself die at Thanos' hands. Why not take the opportunity to try and change that timeline if the TVA is allowing it? I mean,
I don't know.
Look at this! Look at this! This is how they reboot line.
I want to see the whole series over.
Right, exactly. No, I think we're gonna get like
Ironheart. It'll be Ironheart.
Well, they've already announced that. Yeah,
they're definitely gonna expand more on what's happening with the timeline, how Loki's what is going to happen with Loki. I mean, they've got this thought out already.
Sure, yeah. Feige's got it all thought out because
trust, Michael. Trust.
We're going to continue to get multiverse stuff all the way up through Quantumania, Ant-Man, Quantumania.
You said Kang potentially in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I wouldn't be surprised if Loki was in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh yeah, I think he will.
As the main villain, though.
No,
I mean, we need a main villain.
The main villain is Shuma Gorath or whatever.
That's
dumb. A multiverse villain, I'm sure.
You mean that starfish thing or what? No, what is Shuma Gorath?
It's not a star. It's more like an octopus kind of thing.
Octopus looking thing.
Get Rhett to talk about it. You know,
Rhett left. Rhett's gone. But yeah,
Yeah, what happened to Rhett? Did he just like
he bowed out?
Like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, he left. He's got more important things to do. Exactly.
I thought he was just so enraptured by our conversation.
I'm sure everybody is.
Nothing funny to say. Yeah,
he just couldn't post. It was just he was.
This is too perfect. Even when Rhett's not here, we're talking about Rhett. That's how much he's got us all. Multiverse of madness. But yeah, the implications of this Loki figuring out a way to stay alive and if the TVA has the ability to put him back in timeline, that's craziness. I'd love it to happen because it is craziness, but I mean, you break a lot.
I would need a decent explanation of why.
Right, because then you're using the TVA as an entity to just change a bunch, which is very comic book.
And since there's a season 2, I feel like he's going to stay in this kind of realm of outside of time and space.
Maybe he becomes like
heavily rumored season 2.
Heavily rumored season 2. Yes. Maybe he becomes a hunter.
Yeah,
and he goes on missions for not a hunter, but I guess more like
become a detective, like Owen Wilson, that kind of thing. Buddy cop almost.
Buddy cop. Dude, I would love that. Like if they teamed up as a buddy cop.
Wes Anderson to do the next season.
Oh man! Now you're really
Wes Anderson vibes with.
It does.
I love their dialogue, their interaction.
Yeah. Owen Wilson,
where he was trying to psychologically sort of get his head.
Owen Wilson is my favorite part of this show so far. And by the way, Michael made an early, claim during Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 3 or so that was his favorite show of all the Marvel shows so far. This is already my favorite show.
I mean, they keep upping their game every time.
This is the best pilot they put out.
This is the best starting point. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
And apparently episode 2 is even better than the first episode.
It's already been released.
Critics have already seen it and say it's even better, which that's hard to believe.
And some select fans. Yep.
Some select. How can
So
how can the Deucecast Extra not be some select fans? I mean, come on.
I mean, we're such influencers.
We're influencing everything through this show.
I think you gotta live in like
Roth, you're full of junk. You're full of junk.
I've already read the script on Reddit.
Yeah. Waldorn's already, or Walder, whatever his name is. I can't pronounce names, obviously. I'm that guy that cannot pronounce names.
He's going to be writing Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie.
Oh, that's right. That's right. If that really happens.
It's happening.
Dude. If that
people
really
thought
happened.
Indy 5 wouldn't happen, but look.
No, you're right. I was one of those people that never thought it would happen.
Now we got people trying to create drama with the director on Twitter. So.
That's always going to... Hey, one thing that I can promise you about the Deucecast Extra, we will never create drama. We're just going to talk about the stuff that we love and never create drama. But at the same time, if we don't like something, we'll call it out. But Waldron is bringing me on to help them. Wow, Roth is just... Roth is
that's how well he knows Waldron.
that's how well he knows him.
Wait,
exactly.
Now?
So is this okay? So is this the guy that was one of the Rick and Morty writers?
Yes,
I think so.
Okay, and so he also said that he wrote somebody else.
He wrote one episode of. He's credited as one episode of Rick and Morty, but I'm sure based on the process that is TV shows, he was a part of a writers' room.
Yeah.
And Loki also has its own writers' room that he shouted out on his Twitter page. If you want to see all the people he gave thanks to.
Gotcha.
So.
Interesting. Yeah. Like you were saying, Earl, I do love the dynamic between Hiddleston and Owen Wilson, and who would have ever thought in a million years that would have been a dynamic that would have worked, like those two together like that. But I mean,
no, I think Owen Wilson is, this is some of his most.
It's his best work in a while, man. Because I saw that movie that he did for Amazon Prime that had Selma Hayek in it. Oh, horrible.
Wow.
Horrible, but it was like a drama. Really? This is where Owen Wilson works better for me, is when it's sure there can be some dramatic moments, but he's a comedic actor. He's just excels in that realm. Yeah, Bliss, that was the name of it, dude. That movie was god awful. You're right, Roth. I mean, that was a horrible movie. But Rock taking it up a notch. One of the worst movies he's ever seen.
Hey, speak the truth, man.
It is the truth. That's a bad movie. But I love these two together. I hope Owen Wilson is back, basically. I mean, because for a while, like he has not really been in anything great. He struggled for a while.
Yeah,
so I hope this means like he's kind of back, and we're gonna get to see him in the next Wes Anderson movie, and French Dispatch. He's in that,
and supposedly Wedding Crashers too.
Although he came out himself and said that they're just talking about it. It's not like official, but that's just a swerve to try and get people off of the fact that it's official. I mean, is basically what that means.
I'd like to see a Wedding Crasher too. Anyway, back to
I would too. No, I would too. I'd totally like to see if anything's better than Bliss, which was freaking horrible.
Drill Bit Taylor 2, I think is coming.
Drill Bit Taylor 2. No,
Marley and Me too.
No. Marley. The dog dies again. Oh, spoiler alert!
Look,
my bad.
Look, you get a new dog and it dies
again. It's just the same thing keeps happening. They keep naming the dog Marley, and it keeps dying over and over. Marley's ghost literally keeps happening over and over again. All right, so let's talk about some of the high points of the episode. I mean, I liked the courtroom stuff.
Yes.
With the person's name that I'm not even going to try and pronounce.
Gugu Mbatha-Raw.
Yeah, her. She was great. I think that's going to be an important character, more important than even like she is to this series. I think
Renslayer.
I think Renslayer is going to. That's what I hope about a lot of these series, is that we get characters that are going to continue to be in the MCU in some capacity.
We already got that with Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, Rambeau, exactly. Yeah, and who knows, Agatha Harkness, she could be back certainly.
Yeah.
I think obviously we're going to get to see what was Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character name. It's the Countess.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to be big. The Countess is going to be big because that's the whole thing with
Tessa, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Fontaine. Her.
That's good.
Yeah, that's very good. Good recall.
Our brains are old. We can't remember.
I think that they're using these series in the best way possible to introduce new characters, and we'll get to see them continue. And even if they're just continuing on Disney Plus only, and maybe not in the movie realm, that's fine. I mean, I'm okay with that, but there's nothing that says they can't.
I think you're going to see a decent amount of crossover between the movies and the shows. I know that Feige has said he doesn't want you to have to be able to watch all the shows. You can go into you'll be able to go into the movies because people are going to do that. They're not going to see all the shows, so you've got to be able to have the movies be structured so that people can see them without having to see Loki or having to see WandaVision. I know he said that about Doctor Strange too, but there are going to be a lot of characters that I think go back and forth between those.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun to watch.
I mean, we know Wanda's going to show up in Multiverse of Madness, right?
Yep.
Right. We do know that. I mean, I think
the villain, right?
I think the next 3 movies, though,
I think she's an antagonist. I don't think she's the main villain.
Yeah, the main villain.
Shumam Goroth.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately, just based upon the mess that the pandemic happened, the next 3 movies probably are not going to have anything to do with any of the Disney Plus shows. I don't think we're going to see. As far the shows that have already happened.
Contessa Valentina.
Oh, that's right. She was supposed to be
in Black Widow.
But I thought they changed that and put her in.
I think they changed it. I mean, they haven't said one way or the other. They just said she was supposed to premiere in Black Widow.
Yeah. I would love to see that. I mean, I hope that happens. I don't get the sense that in Eternals or in Shang-Chi that, I mean, I don't know. Eternals is going to be so freaking out there. Rhett, we redo this one. How dare you? We're not the TVA, dude. We can't just go do our own timeline. We can't time twist back.
That would be a variant branch.
Yeah, exactly.
And Shang-Chi and Eternals are going to be very interesting. I know that on the set of Shang-Chi, there were a lot of signs that said 2020. So I don't, maybe it takes place during the snap, that kind of thing. I'm very interested to see if they explore that time period more. I'd like to see them explore that time period more.
during the snap was
like
a rough time.
Before
the blip.
Eternals is going to expand,
dude,
whatever centuries or whatever. So
they may fix the blip.
Here's what I hope about the Eternals, and I hate to say this, but I hope it like makes no money and they never have these characters back.
What?
Because I could care less about the Eternals. Like I do not want
to learn to love them.
Okay, let's be honest about Kit Harington and Richard Madden. I can't say this about Richard Madden, but Kit Harington, not the best of actors. I'm just saying.
Well, come on.
He's fine.
Get out of here, Michael.
He's fine, Michael.
Did you see him in that Mount Vesuvius movie he was in? He was horrible in that.
But he's
absolutely
Jon Snow.
horrible.
Come on, get out of here, Michael.
Jon Snow, he did great. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
And I've heard that Richard Madden was really good in that show that was basically a James Bond
show. Bodyguard or something.
The Bodyguard. I heard he was good in that. Look, this I want everybody to mark this moment. This is at 1 hour and 50 seconds into the episode. The first and only time Rhett will ever said I speak the truth about anything. What is this? What is this reference?
It's a line from Game of Thrones.
Come on, dude.
Move
on, Roth.
McQueen.
McQueen.
Look, Jon Snow's great. He's a good actor. You're going to be surprised with him as the Black Knight or something, or the
Dane Whitman, the Black Knight.
Yeah. I mean, is
that right? That's not right.
Okay, I'll say this. I hope the movie doesn't tank, but I'm also. It's also going to take a lot for me to be interested in these characters. Now, I said the same thing probably about Guardians of the Galaxy at the time, but I don't know.
Let me preface. Guardians, again, just came off of a great comic book run that they based a lot of the stuff in the movie on.
Yeah.
In fact, to the point that the writer felt finished with the story arc of the comic and had done what he had done. And then the movie became a success, and Marvel was like, "Okay,
can you keep going?"
This.
Yeah.
Eternals has not had that kind of thing. With
Don't post that.
So. I won't post it.
What did you say about Eternals? What?
I think Eternals doesn't have that kind of run right now.
Well, there was a run though. What, a couple of years ago, apparently, in the comics, where they sort of rebooted them and made them.
Yeah,
right.
and
I think a lot is based off that.
Neil Gaiman did a run.
Now that I didn't know.
Jack Kirby's original 70s run is a snooze fest. So
that's what I hear. It's just like, here we are talking to Aztecs. And
there's now a 2020 run right now, just like there's a Shang-Chi 2020 run. So
yeah. Well,
check all that out.
It's gonna transform everything, Michael. It's just gonna open your eyes.
I don't know. I'm afraid that it's not gonna do well.
It'll probably tank.
I want it to do well, maybe, but I'm not interested in any of the characters right now. Maybe they can change that. I don't know.
We didn't even talk about the ending of the episode for Loki.
No, I know. We're not done. We're going to circle back. Okay. We just took a little break. So
anyway, then they stamped the paper and said, every word you say,
we're going that far back. Okay.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize we hadn't hit that. Yeah. Holy cow.
That was hilarious.
That was a funny moment.
That was the bureaucracy of the TVA on display.
That was the most Terry Gilliam moment ever. When he says something else and he pulls out another piece of paper and he's like, "Okay, you got to do this now."
That's a good point. This show does have some Brazil elements as well.
Oh, very Brazil, much. Like you can tell Waldron likes Terry Gilliam. I mean, or has at least somehow thought about it in his life a lot and put some of those elements in. I mean, yeah, exactly. Terry Gilliam, incidentally, the only good thing about Jupiter Ascending, his one little part that he had in Jupiter Ascending, where he was sort of like the tinkerer, the time guy in that movie. He was awesome in that. It was actually Terry Gilliam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was in it for just a little bit, and that was the only good thing about that movie.
I like the metal detector
yes,
metal detector scene.
Yeah.
Where Loki is starting to have doubts about whether he should step through the machine because he doesn't. Because would a robot know he's a robot?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he kind of puts that.
I wonder if
he's like, this is Asgardian leather, and that thing just goes.
Yeah. All right. I I have to put this up here because you can't say that, Rhett. You don't know that after one episode.
Yeah.
You can't say that it fits better than Hitchhiker. You can't. I mean,
no, he's right about that a little bit. I mean,
in
got that vibe.
How the MCU has been portrayed so far, for sure. But the comics can get pretty cosmic and pretty weird.
Well, look, I mean, Ragnarok was a freaking laugh fest the whole time. I think this at least can fit in that category of they're trying to go for a comedic bent. Yeah. I mean, we've seen that in the MCU. It's not like, and a lot of people don't like Ragnarok for that reason. They think it's like, they think Taika Waititi went too far.
That's my best friend's favorite movie of
yeah, no, I love it.
But
there's a lot, like Earl, I know you kind of felt that way, that you thought it went too far with the humor, but I mean,
I did too, actually.
yeah, I mean, that's Taika Waititi. He's never going to hold back on that unless somebody tells him he has to.
Just the topic of the destruction of Asgard being sort of, okay, well, we're over that. Let's go forward, and it's just kind of.
I liked the message of Asgard not being a place, and it being a way to get rid of Hela. But I was fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. All right,
I really need to watch it again to make sure I.
Well, I'm about to get to. in my rewatch. I'm about to get to that.
Asgard is not a place; it's a people. I like to.
It's a people. I like that too. I like the sentiment of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, to go back to this episode that we have not talked about, but maybe 5 minutes. So it really becomes a situation where they are about to, the judge is about to like get rid of Loki, and Owen Wilson steps in. Now, remind me, because I've only seen the episode once, like what tipped off Owen Wilson's, or what tipped Mobius off?
Owen was there from the start to do that, I think, to pull him aside. Is that what you're asking?
No, like what tipped off the fact that Loki, like he was doing something and all of a sudden he was like, wait, something's going on here. Like he was tipped off that Loki was there, basically.
Oh.
There was a part in the episode. He was
in 1564.
Yeah, exactly.
Investigating something, and then something clicked there and he went back.
Right.
Yeah, I think they might have told him that they had a variant or something.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I watched it. I watched it one time at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my gosh! Michael, you only watched it once?
Leave me alone, Rhett.
Me too. Actually,
leave me alone. I'm old. I don't have memory recall anymore.
Yeah, you guys don't need to watch it that late.
That's why I've got Ryfin on the show to help me recall all this stuff. But anyway,
I like that when he gets them in the room. We've talked about the poignancy of the talks and the discussion.
Yeah.
didn't mention the 90s cola or whatever that everyone's going crazy over. That I had no idea what.
The what?
Josta cola or whatever. Josta.
Oh right, the Josta cola, which I don't even.
Yeah, I've never heard of
it.
Josta cola.
Yeah.
Well, he's drinking like an old. That's a real soda.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From like the 90s or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
Where do you think they actually are when they're looking out the window at this, and there's this whole sort of.
I think. What do you mean, like a time period?
Well, it's just that he looks out this window, and there's kind of this almost. What was that movie where it was like that Bernardo? Who did that movie?
Bernardo Bertolucci. Oh, Luc Besson. Which movie are you talking about? The Fifth Element?
Valerian?
Oh, that Flaw. Valerian.
The Land of 1,000 Planets. It looked like that when you looked out. And I thought, oh, where are they? But
yeah. Well, that's the thing that we don't. Well, yeah, and here's the thing that we don't know: is this even really a place?
Is it just projected?
Is it just?
I think it's a real place. I think it's a real construct, but it's outside of time and space.
Okay, that's fair.
So that's why Morbius is saying, or Mobius.
Yeah.
Josta was a Midwestern drink.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, we didn't have that junk.
I think
over here.
That's why Mobius was saying. I hate this. He's not the living vampire.
He's not the living vampire.
No, he's not Mobius.
He's Mobius.
Mobius.
Yeah.
That's why he's saying time moves differently here, because they're acting outside of time. They can see all of time, as it's supposed to be.
Oh.
But if you vary off, we got to go get you.
Yep.
But can they put you
wander
back
off
in?
that stream?
Yep.
But can they wipe your mind and put you back in?
Well, I feel like they can. Yeah.
Oh,
you
feel
like
that's probably at the center.
I feel like the Prune machines can probably do that if they want them to.
Right. There's so much interesting weirdness that they could go into with this show. Like I would love for Loki to not really be dead, and I don't know, and they put him back into the current timeline, and Tom Hiddleston is in the show or in the movies forever.
I only had one meal today, so.
One meal? What's wrong with you, boy?
I was writing a paper and I realized I didn't have lunch, but that's.
Gotta eat
I
more
had a
food.
second breakfast today. Goodness.
I had at least 5 meals today. What are you guys talking about?
Talk about second breakfast.
Yeah.
Second breakfast.
So Loki observes his life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like a digital kind of thing, but it also is being projected off of film, it looks like.
Well, before he gets to that, though, we should say he does escape.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And we get a funny scene with him switching the collar onto the guard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And him moving her throughout time.
Yeah. Time snapping her back and forth.
Yeah.
And then he goes out and he's trying to find his cube.
Yes.
And he finds all the stones.
Yes.
And Eugene Cordero is there, who was very funny and outer space or whatever it's called, other space. And he goes, well, we use those paperweights, which is a great line.
And it's great because it shows you the importance of the TVA.
Yes.
That they are outside of time and space, so the stones don't even work. And that's how powerful the TVA is.
Michael, you can step out if you need to.
No. They're like 30 minutes away. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
We still got 4 hours.
I know we've got at least 4 hours to go, but anyways.
No, but it does. Ryfan's right. It does show
until the next episode of Loki premieres.
Exactly. That's the goal. It's a marathon for no charity whatsoever.
Till Loki.
What were you saying, Earl? I'm sorry.
Good God.
Please don't post.
What is wrong with you? There's something seriously wrong. I'm not going to. Go ahead. What were you guys saying? I missed Rhett.
I was just saying it was like that moment that Loki realizes everything he's been fighting to get is like piddly compared to the TVA, right?
Yes.
It's just
he feels small.
It's petty, right?
He's never felt that way before.
He's never felt something right. He's always assumed he was the top dog and filled with glorious
heir
purpose.
To the throne.
And it's that moment where he realizes that he's like, oh.
Yeah.
And did he drop the Tesseract or he just
He had it, but he brings it with him to the room, back to the room when he gets there.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, so I'm sorry, I got distracted, but did you guys mention the fact that the guy was rifling through his drawer and was like, oh yeah, we use these as paperweights? That is classic, but that kind of ticks me off because that minimizes everything that happened in Endgame.
No, it doesn't.
A little bit.
No, they're paperweights because they're outside of time and space.
All right.
In fact, other comics have established that the Infinity Gems don't work in some other universes.
So he couldn't have used the time stone to go back in time?
No.
Not if they're just paperweights in this particular area.
I see.
That doesn't exist in the area. Anyways, yeah. They're paperweights here. So no, he couldn't have grabbed the green one and gone back. I mean, no, he couldn't have done that.
I think it's the crossover that's still actually canon. The JLA Avengers crossover. Darkseid gets the Infinity Gauntlet with the Infinity Gems.
Oh, so this is what Rhett
that
was referencing. Okay. So we just established that Rhett's an idiot, and that's wrong. So that's fine. Yeah.
She didn't die for a paperweight in her universe, and
exactly.
But they were very important stones in her universe.
In her universe, exactly.
On Earth 22, the stone. Oh wait, that's wrong.
So here's an even
Darkseid goes across and gets the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, and he finds that it doesn't work in his universe.
Oh man, he's
And
like,
so he just gets rid of it.
How many issues did they take for that to be established? Was it just like a one-shot crossover, or was like 10 issues? Darkseid's trying to get the Infinity Stone, and then like on the 10th issue, finds like, oh, it was a waste of his time.
Yeah. One of those crossover comics is still canon, actually, and they still reference it in DC and Marvel. And
really?
And because of that, Superman is still the only DC character canon to pick up Thor's hammer, I think, or the one of the few characters that even overall can pick up Thor's
Look
hammer.
at Ryfin with all the Garrison's got all the knowledge.
Well, I totally stole this from another podcast I've been listening to.
Hey, that's fine with me, man, dude.
Marvel versus Marvel. They go watch the movies and then tell you what the comics did. That kind of.
So
thing.
have y'all seen?
Oh wow.
This is the thing I saw today. Have y'all seen the screen capture of maybe Peggy Carter at one point?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I saw that, and
Peggy.
I don't think it's Peggy either.
I think
That's people
in the 50s kind of uniform, but I don't think it's Peggy.
Okay.
Yeah,
I feel like they would. I feel like they would have shown her a little bit more if it were Peggy.
Yeah. That's
how I feel about it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
hire Haley Atwell to just be.
It's very convincing because it's blurry and it kind of looks like it could be Haley Atwell. But
yeah, totally.
Haley Atwell, you show Haley Atwell.
Right, exactly. Hey, she'll be back in What If as like Captain America, or what does she come back as?
Yeah, she's
Captain
Britain or whatever.
Captain Britain, exactly.
British
as a cartoon, though, right?
Yeah. These are all animated, exactly.
I don't need that.
No, Disney's never going to buy DC. It's a dead property. So why would they want to? They would never.
It's not dead. Hey,
what? It's not. There's some great comics at Disney right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but I mean, I'm just saying, at least from the DCEU, I mean, that's not going anywhere. Let's be honest.
It's going to take off.
They're going to try and keep it going, but it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, I don't even think they.
Why
I don't even think they use that term. They don't even use the DCEU in their terminology.
They're going to call it the rebooted. No. They're going to call it the new 52 DCEU.
No, please no.
The new 52 DCEU.
I hated the new 52. But
yeah, they'd have to buy the Discovery Channel to get DC right. That's right. All right. So, okay, we're at the part now where he has watched himself. Oh, wait, there's one thing.
Oh, wait, there's more.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is it. He's watched himself. The film roll stops, which was interesting because it doesn't really act like film in any way.
Right.
Other than showing visuals, but the visuals can be affected if you put your hand on them or whatever.
Yeah.
The end of the roll of the film says Earth 616.
Oh, no. It does?
Now,
that's us.
Now, Earth 616 is the main comics universe in Marvel.
Yes.
Are they also trying to establish that the TVA considers the MCU Earth 616? It's going to be an interesting thing to look at.
So it's a multiverse.
Yeah.
Crisis on Infinite.
Oh my gosh, I'm so confused. So Earth 616 is a comic book thing. Obviously,
it's the main Marvel universe. You had
there's a show on Disney called 616, right?
Yeah. Yes. And the Ultimate Universe was like 16 something.
Western Michigan.
Okay.
616.
Okay.
Wait, how do you do a 6? I don't know.
So, oh my gosh.
Ultimate Universe 16.
I'm throwing gang signs.
So they're basically trying to establish that the MCU, as we know it, is Earth 616. Is basically what they're doing.
The main timeline for what we're watching. See, that's the thing, because you're going to get some comic people that are like, okay, 616 is the comics universe. It's always been the comics universe as they've established it in the multiverse.
So you're gonna
tick off 616 if the comics universe exists in the same multiverse. But
Oh no! So you're going to tick off a lot of actual like comic book fans if they actually do that. Then
and in Far From Home, Mysterio called our Earth 616 as well, but Mysterio was a fraud. He wasn't actually from the multiverse. So
yeah, but where did he even get that terminology then? Like if he's not from the multiverse. That's a pretty just random number to come up with. I mean, if he didn't know about it somehow. I mean, I know he's just a fraud. I know that character.
Yeah, I agree with Rhett. I don't think the universe will be 616, but that they just throw that stuff in there as an Easter egg kind of thing.
That's a mean Easter egg, because that's a pretty blatant one.
You have to pause the video to be able to see the role.
But dude, everybody pauses the video and sees that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, you got all the red circle videos, I'm sure.
Mysterious.
I know all the red circle people.
Yeah.
And the hexagons,
maybe it's just another. Here's the problem with them doing that though. That's twice that they've done that in the MCU, thrown 616 out, and it's at some point it's going to start being like, okay, well, is this more than an Easter egg if you're going to start using this term more often than once?
The Marvel Comics already gave the MCU a designation. It's like 10 nines or something like that. I don't know.
Oh no, they did. They did. Like Earth 1099 or something, or 10 nines.
No, MCU Earth.
So wait, the comic book world gave the MCU its own designation.
Earth 199999959.
Why? Why did they do that? That's so unnecessary to do that type of thing.
Find who someone gave it to them, but anyway, we can do that for next episode.
Okay. Well, yeah, but still, I mean, that's ridiculous that they, No, you're right, Rhett. You're right, but the problem is they've done it twice now. I understand that it's just for Easter eggs and stuff like that, but to do it twice in the MCU now is a little annoying. I mean, even if it's just an Easter egg and nothing's ever going to come from it, it's still a little annoying. I mean,
all will be explained in Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
it's all will be explained in Shang-Chi, of course. So yeah, I mean, so pretty much we're to believe immediately at that point, after Loki sees himself die, that he's kind of reformed or closer to the Loki that we knew in the timeline, that's been established.
He's had a wake-up call.
He's had a bit of a wake-up call.
He understands what his role in life is now, instead of what he thought it was before.
Yeah, well.
They tore him down to build him up.
He thought he was going to be a king.
Yes.
Right.
And instead, he found out that people found themselves through taking him down.
Yeah.
They became better people through taking him down.
Right.
Avengers. They found themselves. And that was his purpose in the timeline, and that's very sad.
Right,
he becomes a better person after that. But yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah, I totally don't know that I buy it. I mean, that he's completely. I mean, because we're still talking about the 2012 Loki.
Yeah,
I would think that it would take more than that to flip him. Yeah,
he's not fully reformed, but
right.
He's definitely, I think, a lot more understanding of his purpose.
Well, yeah, okay, so
purpose.
So Rhett's saying, he's also the villain, not this Loki, not the 2012.
It's a Loki variant.
Loki
it may not
variant.
Even look like him.
Right, it's going to be either a female Loki,
gender fluid,
or a Richard E. Grant Loki. An old man Loki. I mean, I think we're gonna
Loki.
There's also like Kid Loki or something in the comics.
Oh, good grief, Kid Loki.
Pretty sure.
All right. So yeah, it's not the 2012 Loki is not the villain. Yes, she Loki.
No, it's
she Loki.
I think it actually is Lady Loki.
No, you're right. I've heard that term Lady Loki before, so I think that's what they kind of, because that's a very Asgardian way to name that character, Lady Loki.
Lady Sif.
Lady Sif, Lady Loki. Yeah, exactly. So pretty quickly after he kind of sees himself die, Mobius comes back and he's like, look, here's the deal. We need your help. There's another Loki out there doing really bad things to our hunters. Hunters are dying everywhere from this other Loki. Unless I'm missing some exposition, but I think that's the thing, that the conversation immediately after he figures out that he died or whatever. I don't think there's much more.
Yeah,
I don't think there's much more. I mean, sure, there's a lot. I mean, more dialogue there, but essentially, it's the fact that they're asking for his help.
Very dialogue heavy episode because they're setting up the universe for us.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good setup. It's a great pilot. You know, I'm ready for it. I think the next 5 episodes are, and that's what's good to me about a short series, is that you have to have something major happen in every episode, unlike Bad Batch, where you've got 16 episodes. Now, granted, they're only like 22 minutes each or whatever, so, you know, they're not as long as each episode of Loki is going to be, but I think taking 16 episodes is quite a bit to get to the point. Loki, they know their limitations, but at the same time, they want to deliver a show that's quick to the point and is going to be awesome. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
Where do we think we're going from here?
Oh my gosh.
Into the multiverse of madness.
Yeah. Into the multiverse of madness. Exactly. I still think that the hunters that we have met are not huge fans of Loki. No, you know, because they don't trust this 2012 Loki any more than they trust the Lokis that they know that are out there killing. Because I think everybody at the TVA is understanding that the person that's killing all these other hunters is Loki, a version of Loki, a variant of Loki. So yeah, they're not big fans. They don't trust him. I mean, so Mobius is really going to have to be an advocate for Loki, I think, to everybody else, because I don't even think Raven, whatever her name is, what's her name?
Renslayer.
Yeah, her Renslayer. Ravenclaw. I'm going to call her Ravenclaw. No, Renslayer. I don't even think she likes him much. I don't.
Oh no, she wanted to send him to whatever.
I don't think she's a huge fan. Everybody basically thinks Mobius is making a mistake in even trusting any variant version of Loki. So we'll see.
I feel like he would just really wanted to get some information from him, right? To sort of to find out who he was. What is
he also wanted to see? I think he wanted to see how he would react to seeing his at least potential part of his future. He was showing him his mother dying in Dark World,
right?
And the fact that he caused that, he didn't mean to, but he
did. Yeah, that's true. Yep. He's basically showing things that Loki would have never, even, you know, our timeline Loki would have never known. I mean, some things, you know, that some of the ripple effects of some of the actions that he took. It's an interesting conceit to show a character, here's all the bad crap that you had caused to happen, whether you knew it or not. Granted, you did the right thing eventually, but here's all the bad stuff that you caused to happen. I mean, that's
interesting psychological.
Yeah, it's interesting for a character to see some of that. It's crazy. All right, well, we can wrap it up unless you guys have anything else. I loved the episode. Did you guys have any other comments or anything?
I'm sure. Go on.
Yeah, I know we could. I'm sure we missed a lot of stuff.
You've got to go meet your folks. So
they'll be here in a little bit. Yeah, I mean, they're still on the. They're still on
the door for an hour and a half.
No, they're still on the other side of Tuscaloosa. They're still on the other side of Tuscaloosa. But after driving for 13 hours, I do not envy how they're going to be feeling when they get here. But yeah, I mean, I like this. I don't like every thought that Roth has, but I like this one. It's a Wonderful Life, but what actually happened? Yeah, that's an interesting way to put that.
I like Rhett's comment, though. That is a good.
Wait, I missed it. I'm sorry.
He says that to the judge. That like because he starts saying that the Avengers time traveled. And it's like, how does he know that? Well, he smelled the other Tony's cologne.
Yeah,
it's pretty obvious to him.
That's interesting. Yeah, there was some great, like, the writing is really sharp. I mean, which I would expect from anybody involved with Rick and Morty. I mean, I would expect the writing to be pretty sharp. And I've
never watched Rick and Morty. Is it like
it's
pretty solid?
It's good
for adults.
It's just I think it's more for adults than children. I mean,
yes.
It's just really sharp writing. I mean, it's all part of
silly.
You know. Well, isn't it the guy that
it's Dan Harmon?
Dan Harmon, yeah. Anything
Harmon's awesome,
and Justin Roiland.
Yeah, anything that Dan Harmon kind of is involved in, the writing's always pretty sharp. At least it's not for good. And like here Roth said, it's not for everybody. Totally, it's definitely not for everybody. But yeah, I mean, I did, in all honesty, too. I didn't really watch. I've only seen a few episodes of it.
Episodes were kind of hit or miss for me, but the ones that hit really hit. I honestly. It's not exactly like that, but South Park's kind of the same way with me. Some episodes really hit and some episodes don't.
Well, and the thing that I like about Rick and Morty is there's an ongoing story. There's like continuity throughout. I mean, which is a little bit odd for a cartoon. So, I mean, it's good. I mean, I like that aspect of it. So anyways, I think we're going to wrap it up. Ryfin, where can the people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter at SUPASH3, and you can find me on Letterboxd at GRyfin, where I'm continuing trying to hit the same goal that Michael's trying to hit this year.
365, baby.
I don't know if I'll hit it. We'll see.
It's the year to do it.
Hit what?
Oh, 365. 365.
New movies.
Wow.
New movies. 365 new movies. Dr. Earl, the people can find you in the Deucecast Discord. That's about it.
I'm there. I'm there for the people.
You're hanging out with the people, and the people love it. Hey, better than David. Better than David.
Discord. David can't get on Discord.
Exactly. He's like, I can't figure out how to get on to Discord. I just can't do it. Earl was in there today, Roth. Earl made a comment today. He's around. Earl is around. Earl's around. I am at the Michael Nip on Twitter. I hang out there a little bit, but I prefer the Discord. In all honesty, I prefer the Deucecast. Not Discord. I prefer the Deucecast Discord. I mean, it's my home away from home. It's my people, and I prefer it. It's way better than Twitter. But I am on there. I'm also on Letterboxd.
Speaking okay? Do we need to?
No, dude. It's 10:30. I've been up since 5 a.m. I've been up since 5 a.m. It's 10:30. Yeah. But yeah, I'm on Letterboxd, keeping track of all the crazy. I just watched Willy's Wonderland last night, the new Nick Cage movie that dropped on Hulu. It's absolutely insanely dumb, but it's funny because it's Nick Cage. So
yes,
I had a good time with it just because of that. Otherwise, don't watch it. If you don't have Hulu, don't get Hulu just to watch Willy's Wonderland. Is what I'm saying, Dr. Earl. It's not worth it. I appreciate everybody in the live chat. That's what makes this show fun for me, at least, is interacting with the people in the live chat. I enjoy doing the show quite a bit, and it's been fun talking all these series with you guys. We'll continue doing it every Monday as long as there's more Star Wars and Marvel and Yellowstone content. Mondays, baby. We'll keep it coming. As episodes of Bad Batch get better, maybe we'll do a little bit longer. But look, with these 6 weeks of Loki, this is mostly going to be a Loki thing with a little peppering of the Bad Batch at the beginning of each episode. But
we got to pace ourselves better.
Yeah, it's mostly going to be Loki, in all honesty.
We're going to have less questions about how everything works in Loki in future episodes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this was fun. This show was this episode of the Deucecast Extra was like a Loki episode in the sense that it was just insane. So yeah, that's basically what happened here. So as everybody always says with Twitter, please share the episode, because that's how we're going to get people to subscribe to the channel. I mean, we're trying to grow the thing, but at the same time, I could care less if it grows. In all honesty, I'm not trying to make money doing this. I'm doing this as a hobby. It's fun for me to do, and like I said, I enjoy the people in the live chat, and it's great. I mean, I love doing this, and I'll keep doing it. Good God, Rhett. And oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, if you want to share the episode, that'll get us some more subscribers. And that's, I guess, what you want to do with YouTube. I don't know. I don't really care.
Mash the bell.
Mash the bell, turn on your notifications. We'll go live every Monday and talk about these shows that we love. Ryfin, Dr. Earl, thank you guys again for participating every week. It would not be the same without you guys, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the time that you guys are taking to do it. It's fun for our listeners to have something other than the episode that comes out every Wednesday, which are talking about 1985 through 1989 summer movies. Fantastic episode. It's a great episode. If you thought 1980 to 1984 was a big movie, 5 years, 85 through 89. Awesome 5 years of summer movies. So appreciate you guys listening to the Deucecast Movie Show. Appreciate you guys watching the Deucecast Extra. Hope everybody has a great night.